That's better. Hello everyone, and I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Joker, but I'm going to do a little bit more than that. This video will not only act as a spoiler-free, absolutely no spoilers in this video review for the movie Joker, all my thoughts, everything I liked, everything I didn't like, which is not much by the way. It's going to be a full review for this movie, but also I want to explain and kind of just talk about how this movie really is the perfect movie for 2019. I'll get into that a little bit more after the review itself, but let's just get started right away with Joker. And obviously the thing you can't get away from is Joaquin Phoenix as the title character. And my god, he is just incredible. If you guys watched my video of 5 movies to watch before Joker, you would know that I watched 2 movies in preparation for this movie that had to do with Joaquin Phoenix's career, and that was The Master and You Were Never Really Here. And both these performances were very different from each other. One, he actually lost a lot of weight, it seemed like, and one, like, he gained more weight and he was more of a bigger, tougher, kind of like violent character. And in The Master, he was just, walking around just this crazy, weird, wonky character that just had a whole bunch of things going on with him. This movie is probably my favorite performance of his that I've ever seen. Her, he is really great in Her. Those 2 movies, he's really great, but he is something else in this movie. He completely transforms into this character, which you've probably heard a million times before, but I'm going to say it possibly a million more times. Joaquin Phoenix kills it as this character. And yes, Heath Ledger was a very, very different Joker from Joaquin Phoenix's, which I will say right off the bat. I don't really want to compare them too much, but it's just the version of the Joker that they go with, something that is completely different, something that we haven't really seen before, something that Todd Phillips even said, he's not basing any of this off of the comics. This is a completely original idea, this original take on this character that has never really been done before. And I think it's just, he's so good in the role, and he's perfect for this version of the Joker. And when I say he transforms into the Joker, I mean he really does just take this character of Arthur Fleck, and even his transformation in the movie itself. He starts off as Arthur Fleck, and he ends the movie off as a Joker. And so this transformation within the movie itself felt so just... I think this is the greatest thing about this movie, is how real it felt, which honestly leads me to the next thing that I love about this movie, is how I was genuinely terrified by this version of the Joker. I've never really been scared by a Joker. Heath Ledger was just a crazy, fascinating character. This guy who really had no motivations, who just was an agent of chaos, and you could never really get inside his head, which made him super appealing in that movie. And it's perfect for that version of the Joker that they try to do in that movie. In this movie, it's just, he is so real, and his spurts of violence and his just mannerisms and everything about him just made you so uncomfortable. It's so unsettling. This movie is really dark and disturbing. Like, it is a movie for the Joker. This is not a superhero movie. This is a supervillain movie. It dives directly into the mindsets of this character that is very dark and demented, very delusional, and it just... It scared me to my core because it felt so real. There's a scene in this movie where I was legitimately shaking in my seat. I was just terrified by what this guy was about to do, what I thought he was going to do, and the fact that he did something completely different, and just everything that happened beforehand all led up, like slowly ramping up his acts of violence and his just different things that he does in this movie. I don't want to get into too much spoilers, but everything he does beforehand to this scene just really tenses you up, and it just shoots off from there till the end of the movie. And it, like, the third act is incredible. It's very mad. It's very disturbing and dark and just messed up. This is a super villain movie. It's not a superhero movie. Don't go into it thinking that. It is based on a comic character, but this really could have been anybody. And I think a lot of the credit has to go to Todd Phillips as the director, which I think he does an excellent job. If you don't know his previous work, he directed all 3 Hangover movies, which he was a comedy guy. He did a lot of comedies. The first Hangover movie is great, but he also did 2 and 3. And he also did War Dogs, which was very mixed on reviews. I never got a chance to see that movie myself, but I heard some mixed things, some uneven things. People loved it, people didn't like it. Just a lot of uneven reviews for that one. So that was my main concern coming to this movie, but I think most of the tension and the stress in this movie is all thanks to Todd Phillips' excellent directing. And the script as well is brilliant, but the cinematography is just perfect. The shift in tone that the cinematographer does in this movie is just, it's very clear. Like, you even see in the trailer when Arthur Fleck is going up the stairs and it has this like darker bluer color tone, and then when it gets later in the movie when he becomes the full Joker, as you see in the poster, it's a lot more lively and colorful, and just the cinematography is beautiful in this movie, and I absolutely love it, and it's just such a well-directed movie, and Todd Phillips just blew me away. And I can't go without mentioning Hildur Gunnadottir's amazing musical score in this movie, and I think it added so much to just the entire tone and feel and the stress and the ramping up of everything. It was such a beautiful score. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to download it as soon as it becomes available. It added so much to this film. I think she does an incredible job composing this movie. And also, this movie has a pretty large supporting cast, but the focus is definitely on Joaquin Phoenix. But everybody else does a great job. Zazie Beetz, Robert De Niro, Mark Maron, they're all fantastic in this movie, although they're not in this movie as much as you might think. Robert De Niro is excellent in this role. If you guys watch Taxi Driver, or especially The King of Comedy, he does have a very similar role as the King of Comedy, where the talk show host plays an important part in the Joker's life, in his kind of upbringing. So I think he is great in the movie. I absolutely loved this entire storyline, really, about Robert De Niro and the importance of his character throughout this entire movie. But I do not absolutely love this movie, although it might seem like I'm raving about it. There is one issue I have with this movie, which is just a single musical choice that I thought was very odd. But besides that, I don't really have any complaints about this movie. It is just incredible directing, beautiful score, and mind-bending performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Somebody who matches Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, but is honestly completely different. It's a very different Joker, and in many ways, it's actually the complete opposite of Heath Ledger's Joker. Whereas Heath Ledger, you kind of never get to really know him, and his mystery is kind of the appeal of that character, whereas this one, you dive directly into his mind. It's a character that inspires a lot of people, rather than the Joker at the end of The Dark Knight, failing to get people to blow up the other boat. It's almost a complete opposite take on this character, which still feels exactly like who you would think the Joker would be based on the comics and based on this character, and just, it's so good. I love this movie. The supporting cast, everything about it. It is one of my favorite movies of the year, if not my favorite movie of the year, next to Endgame and Rocketman and Booksmart and all these other movies that I really love. It's just something, I can't believe Warner Brothers decided to make this really dark and violent personal character study about this villain that is very dark, and I really hope DC and Warner Brothers decides to do more just one-off storylines about DC comic characters that just really takes the genre into a whole new level. Now let's get into the title of this video, why I think this is the perfect movie for 2019. And again, I will not be getting into any specific spoilers, but I will be talking about some of the themes of the movie, so if you don't really want to know about that, I do think maybe you should click off, but I promise I won't spoil any plot points or anything like that. So let's get into why I think this is the perfect movie for 2019. If you guys watched my top 10 movies, or my top 10 movies of 2018 video, I talked about when I get to BlacKkKlansman, how when you look back in like 10 years from now, when you look back to the year 2018, what movies are going to stick out being like, okay, this is what 2018 was. This movie completely just embodies that year in just one like 2-hour long movie, and that was BlacKkKlansman or even Black Panther for me. I think both those movies fit 2018 so perfectly, and you can go back and you can really do this with any movie. So I think I'm going to make this prediction now that by the end of this year, this movie is still going to be the perfect, just what it's basically what 2019 stands for. And this movie was written in 2017, so it also has a lot to do with our world and the culture that's been going on for the past few years. And it's not about the inspiration of violence. I know that is a huge thing going on online about how the Joker movie inspires violence among people, and that is definitely not the themes and what this movie's message is trying to portray. We live in a world where there are a lot of problems going on that we seem to just kind of push off on the side and ignore, and this movie really delves deep into the mental health issue that's been going on, and I think it's a very important subject matter, something that we should really take care of and something that we should really watch for. And it's something that in this movie it shows people kind of push it off on the side and just kind of ignore, and it's something that we shouldn't ignore. And there are a lot of things in this country that we shouldn't ignore, and that's kind of the theme of this entire movie. It's how Gotham kind of pushes their problems off on the side, and it's a class story as well. It's the rich and the poor. It's the mentally like ill and the problems that can cause from it, and how Joker and his character himself has really been ignored by a lot of things in his life, and a lot of the problems that's been going on, and it's just pushed on the side, and he's pushed to the ground, and he's not seen. And I think that's the point of this movie. These issues are not seen, even though we do talk about them a lot, and it happens all the time, and it's something that we should focus on, but we don't for whatever reason. We don't change things. We don't try to fix things. We just kind of say, okay, yes, what's going on? Stop. And that's all the effort given to try to change anything. And that's why I think this is a perfect movie to kind of encapsulate all of 2018, all the problems or 2019, all the problems that we've had this year and years previous, back in 2017 when this movie was written. And it's coming out in such a perfect time in terms of where our world is at, where our society is at. And I think that is the point of this movie. The point is not to inspire violence, but it's to shine the light on these issues that we are ignoring and that we're not really trying to fix. This is definitely a movie that I highly recommend all of you guys who are comic book fans, who are Joker fans, who are Batman fans. You will love this movie. It's very different from anything that's been done in the comics, but it is definitely something that is deserving of the character of the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix just completely kills it in the role. It's a very well directed movie. All those things I said, and it is a very important movie to see in 2019. It will not be for everybody. I think in some ways people might take this movie the wrong way, which I think it's kind of hard to. I don't really see, but people who have complaints about this movie, I think they are warranted. But at the same time, I was blown away by this thing. I think you guys should all see it. It is a movie that really chilled me to my bones. It is terrifying to think about, and it's a very dark and disturbing movie that won't be for everybody, but for those who are the audience for this movie, you will absolutely love it. That is my review, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more videos just like this one, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment below what you thought of this movie. So that'll be it, and I hope to see you all in my next one.